Hey, whoops, I didn't just do that. I'm back in my studio. Cause I need to get my clapboard. How you guys doing? Set this down here. I'm gonna put this here. Let me set this where you get the right view. Okay, now I'm gonna try a proper intro. Hi, I'm Leathur Rokk. Welcome to my channel. Amir Udin. Hello, how you doing? If Kyler is in the chat, look at the belly ring I'm wearing. Today, I'm actually going to cook up a burrito for a friend of mine who's on my stoop. Yes, you know what? Let's come with me. We can get one of them. I just threw out a purple one because unfortunately I had to use it to kill a bug. And it was the only thing I could find on hand. Let me see if I can, if any of them are here. Honestly, because I was about to cook something, you know. Blue N9. I don't think is here. Just for the hell of it, let's come into. Yeah, this would. If the masks might be in here, I don't know. I probably packed a bunch, you know. Honestly. Okay, sometimes I have seen a few masks here. I can't really find. I mean, oh, this would be where I would think I would put things in. I have this little backpack that has things in it. Some of the first aid kit nature stuff and things like extra sunblock and stuff, but no, I don't see masks there. Well, you know, people aren't really using them too much anymore, so I do have something. I have a mask. Want to see it? That's the only mask I could find. And no, of course, unless you put a filter on them, we're not going to kid ourselves that they would do any good. And I know it's just a fabric mask. I know. At least it's something. And this is just theater, you know that. Except I do love my present. Anyway, I got to get to the subject at hand. A friend of mine wants this burrito. And it's going to be easier for me to actually fry it. But you know what? I need to get a pair of scissors. Alright. And this says El Monterey Signature Chicken, Cheese, and Rice. This is obviously nothing I would eat because I don't eat cheese, but for other people that do. Now, what I'm going to do is, I've got this wok here. I'm going to add some oil to this, and I'm going to fry it. And one advantage woks have over skillets is you've got a smaller bottom, so you don't need as much oil to get at least a partial submersion. So it makes deep frying a lot easier. When you're dealing with a skillet, that's a real hassle to get it enough. You're using so much oil to put in here. But we have another problem. This building has warped floors. So whenever you put anything, there's more on this side than on this side. So sometimes I actually take a skillet like this and I actually balance it here just so that there is more, it can't tip over. You know, something about hot oil, you don't want it to tip over. But I'm going to set this here. And what this is, by the way, in this skillet, I'm going to be reheating some fried chicken because I'm ultimately going to be making fried rice for myself and my mom. But let's start with the oil that I'm going to be putting in this pan, in this wok. I'm going to pull this away so that I can get this on here. I'm going to put some oil in here. That's it. I don't want to use too much. I'm sure I'm going to get to reuse this oil a few times, as long as it doesn't get clouded with a bunch of stuff. I'll use this. There. I probably should have waited for the oil to heat up, but this will heat pretty fast in this wok. And I'm not going to have it the maximum heat. Oh, I'm going to move this while I can, because these are going to get really hot. I'm going to have to protect my hands with, let me see where oh, there we go. Got to keep these nearby. Whenever you're, whoa! You know, one thing I did is, instead of taking it right out of the freezer and then propping it in this oil, I actually took it out of the freezer a couple of hours ago because my friend came by. He said he was hungry. I was thinking of what I could feed him. And then I'm thinking, why the hell don't I do it live, you know? If I do it live, then it'll give me another way to create content. And it gave me time to fix my preparation. You know, my makeup had faded a little bit during the day, and it gave me a chance to fix my eyeliner and all that. Oh, I'm turning this fire down. And so I got a chance to, and then to find something cool to wear, which I think this is really cool. Oh, and you notice I didn't put on a garter belt this time. I'm just letting these stockings stay up by themselves. I figure this is not going to probably be very long live stream unless I keep it going after his food is cooked. My friend actually, you know that guy that was really funny? Not the last live stream I had with a friend, but the one where I wasn't cooking and he was downstairs. That's my friend Ozzy. I'm cooking this for him right now. Right now he's dealing with a lot of pain issues, and he says he cannot physically climb up my steps. So he's staying all the way down there. So that's why I am cooking this here, and then when it's done, I'm going to bring this down there. So you will get to see him. So I hope you see this. Oh, I want to get a close-up look at my makeup. And I want to give you a close-up look at my shirt. I actually had a much larger shirt with long sleeves. I cut them off, made stockings with them, and I did a whole bunch of things to this I want you to see. First of all, this is the the neck of this. But then look what I did. By braiding it, I was able to take that excess fabric, create some cutouts, make this actually fit me instead of being way too large and stuff. And I was able to show the bare midriff and show this new belly ring, which I got from my friend Cece, by the way. It's got, a matter of fact, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to stir this some. I want to get a nice brown color. Now, for Kyler to see, and anybody else who really likes nice piercing jewelry, this is my new piercing ring. You see it's got a green stone in it, and a green stone here, and all these tiny stones, and it's a lucky 4-leaf clover. I'm all about that luck, right? But yeah, this I totally cut off. You might have seen the footless stockings that I have that totally go with this. You know, gray leopard is so versatile. And this skirt has a special story to it. I got these at a little tiny S&M convention in Hollywood, California, that it was in. It was just one afternoon and evening in, was it the Pantages, or was it one of those little theaters very close to Hollywood and Vine? And anyway, it was, I got this skirt there, and it was just the cutest thing. I also got a keychain. It was a little miniature whip made of, I guess, suede, black suede. And it just attached to a keychain. It's the sort of thing that you can use the keychain, or you can actually use it. Oh, okay, I don't want to splash this. See, I want to make sure that that whiter part gets some color. Okay, I'm going to turn the fire off. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this back up on here. And then I'm going to use the that thing to take this off the heat completely so that it totally stops cooking. And now that it's safely back there, I hope the mice don't try to use that area. You know, this is the back too. That's where the mice live, and that's how they get into the stove and stuff. And I don't dare use the oven because the mice live down there. You know, you don't want to do that to a little fuzzy animal, even if it's considered a pest. Still, they're living in a really stupid place that, well, they don't know that, but they're just trying to survive and get a little bit of food and raise their babies and stuff. And they'll live in such a dangerous thing, but you know. Okay, I am going to find a plate and I am going to get ready to serve my friend. Oh, hopefully not knock this over because that would really suck. Okay, this plate should be good enough, right? Now I'm going to take, yeah, let you at least see what the heck it is I'm doing. Okay. All right, I'm I'm just going to leave that there for a bit. I really want to put this chicken over here. Let me do something with that. But right now, well, I'm going to set this down here. We're going to take this Jor Boy Beanies. Hi. I'm about to take this. I don't know if you even need a fork with these things. Can't you just take your hot little hand? I'll give them a napkin. Fine. I have this container that just has napkins and shit. I will give this to my friend. And these are really pretty. I forget how the hell I scored these, but I found a whole package of them. And I set them aside for when I wanted to have something that looks cool. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's go see my friend. You've seen him before. He's the one that was making those jokes outside when I was looking for this cat to give this canned tuna to, and he was talking some shit. And he's not a bad person at all. He just talks funny when he's had a couple of drinks. Yeah. And, I got food. Yes, I do. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I got food. You. Here, I'm going to prove that I'm not giving food to a stray dog or something. Here, that napkin is for you, too. I hope you don't burn yourself. I had to actually deep fry it.
Oh, this looks good.
You know, my mother says they're really good that way. You know, because everything gets a chance to heat the proper way. Because we don't have a microwave. And anyway, they do things from the inside out, and sometimes things aren't done right. Like hot dogs shrivel up and stuff. So,
I thank you.
You're welcome. I figured that was the easiest thing. I'm sorry I took longer than anticipated, but I wanted to actually, because the only way to do this, the phone had to be charged up. And I saw it was down to 71%, which isn't bad, but still, you know how long these things are going to take. I had to charge it up some more. And plus I had to add to my eyeliner because that was faded. Anyway, I didn't want to let you start. I don't want to be an asshole. So, hi, sorry about that. I don't understand. I was on my stairwell feeding my friend, and all this the wheel spinning, and it says that I'm not online. And I'm walking up the steps, and I'm walking up the steps, and I'm going down the hall. I'm coming down the hall, and just now I get near the entrance to my room. Now all of a sudden I got a signal again. That's a little messed up, you know. So now I'm thinking, you know what I can do? I can come in here. My friend, he says he can't come up the stairs. I can put this up here. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chore Boy. I made this top. I found this giveaway top that was way too big in one of those clothes piles. They drop off these piles of clothes in this park. And if you're there, sometimes the state police drops off shit tons of clothes. That's where I get the clothes that I give my mom. You know, she went from having nothing, and she's all depressed. I have no place to wear if I get to go to the doctors. I have no place to go where if I get to take a walk in a boardwalk. It's like, now you do. Now my mom has no excuse. Now I can take her. You know what? I better turn some light on. Okay. Is that better? Okay, now I have to. Oh, one thing I'm going to tell you about this skirt. This is hella years old. The elastic is obviously gone in some parts of it. I don't have the heart to part with it. And I'm sure that if I did the right kind of sewing, I could fix the elastic, but then it would be all crinkled up and stuff. I would rather have it go a little like what it's doing. I know I could just pull it down longer, but if I did that, then I would have to put the stockings lower because then I would not have the exposed, the silhouette I like where you got the hemline, you got a few inches of skin, and then the stocking starts, you know. But so okay, so anyway, nothing's cooking on the stove anymore. Nothing's gonna burn. Does anybody mind if I do something that adults that are 21 and older are allowed to do in the state of New Jersey? But you can't do it in public in Atlantic City because they now have fines starting at $250 and going up to $1,000 if you're caught smoking weed in public in Atlantic City. The fuck? What's up with that? Anybody, please tell me what's up with that. I hate this fact that this is reversed and stuff. I want to just show. And if there's anything that has a little waxy smudge on it, that's a bit of dabs. Those are amazing. Okay. I like to take a tiny little smudge of dabs, right? Because I don't have a dab rig or anything. Take a tiny little piece of rolling paper and fold it up, make a package so that with enough room on either sides so that when you squish it with the warmth of your finger, it could spread out onto this package, folded up package of rolling paper. And you put that in your bowl, surround it with finely torn up weed, and take your time with your draws on it. And it definitely, because you don't want the it to burn at such a high temperature that it defeats the purpose of when you use dab rigs. There's a metal pin that gets heated to a really hot temperature, and it does a kind of combustion that doesn't allow for the incomplete burning, which makes it less harsh on the lungs. And supposedly, you get more of the benefits of the plant and more of the terpenes and more benefit out of the cannabinoids that get you high because it's not doing the true combustion, because it's more like vaping, if that makes any sense and if that's close to being accurate. It's gotten so scientific. The whole thing of being a cannabis enthusiast has gotten so much more technical now. Before, you're lucky to understand the light and dark growth cycles and difference between sativas and indicas, and obviously you want as high THC as better. But now they have so much more detailed knowledge and different things depending on the kind of terpenes involved. It's not just high THC, but so many other things to consider, and people talking about the kind of highs they get. And me, I'm big on flavor. I like something that's either car exhausty or skunky. I like something or real foresty. But the things that end up smelling and tasting like dirt weed, like the torn up dry leaves, usually if it doesn't taste good for the most part, it's kind of sucky. Every now and then, though, I have experienced, even in Hollywood, California, I experienced weed that tasted like total dirt weed. But I was actually surprised, and it took a little of a delay. But for the most part, if it doesn't taste good, it'd be a disappointment. Like one time, that guy across in some parking lot was selling big, huge nickels, like two handfuls nickel, and it was the most waste of time piece of crap. Dry leaves tasting, big grayish green nugs, grayish brown rather, no green in this. But oh, it was like a caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. You know, but all these years of my being an enthusiast of the herb, I have developed a high tolerance. And I really do believe that cannabis use helps to minimize arthritis, pain, and different things because I think I'm much more pain free than a lot of people I know. I'm not taking pills for anything. To my knowledge, I don't have any chronic diseases. I'm going to knock on something hard. You know, I've been trying to eat a cleaner diet for several years now, but I still get tempted by certain junk. If I have access to it and it's in my face, and somebody offers me a slice of blueberry pie, that's hard to pass up. If it's in the house, it's hard to pass up. And I found myself in a situation where I got some groceries and I got some sweet things, and I got to mostly share it with other people, but my mom and I definitely had some of that pie. But I've been trying to give good, fairly lean protein sources, even though I've been frying things a lot because I can't use a toaster oven anymore because the toaster oven part, one of the last times I was heating the Wawa sandwiches for my friends, the metal thing that you balance the food on, that broke off. And it doesn't attach. I live for Finland in a week. You leave for Finland. Drew Henderson, you're going to Finland? Is this a vacation? You're not leaving, renouncing American citizenship or anything, are you? Man, Finland, wow. That seems so remote, but exciting. Do you have to learn the language there? See, one of the things that scares me about ending up in other countries is that you're to be not thought of as the ugly American. We're expected to learn their languages, and I don't know, but I find it really hard. Oh, vacation. Okay, okay. All right, because you struck me as a proud American that didn't want to necessarily leave. You're not like Rosie O'Donnell going to those poor Irish people. I feel bad for them. It's just, but it's interesting. You hear about all these Muslims that decide to go there for whatever reason, and then they have the nerve to complain that there's too many Irish there and too many Catholics and too many Catholic churches. Well, you decided to leave a totally different climate for a place with a totally vastly different culture than your own, and you're wondering why there's so many white people, so many Irish people, so many redheads, so many freckles, so many Catholic churches. Oh my God. Well, I mean, what did they think? They think that we were going to just be able to turn it into what they left? Europe, pay attention. Yeah, Drew Henderson says some people are saying I should reconsider due to Russia. Well, how long is this vacation? I would definitely keep your head on a swivel. And one thing, Finland, that's now a NATO country, right? Because I would say I always recommended, even though some people say that if you're near the United States military, that's kind of a target because a lot of times they attract unfriendly, from other countries. But like for instance, the only time I ever went to Tijuana, I went to a place that was a known hangout for our Navy or whatever. It was on a street called the Via Revolucion. This was back in 1989. I would never go to, and if I have any Mexican viewers, I apologize. There's nothing against you personally, but for my own personal safety, I've heard too many stories about the Zetas and other gangs and the cartels kidnapping people. I would not put myself there. Too many things happen to tourists. If you don't have enough money to pay off things happen. They find a whole bunch of your body parts scattered, and what happens to women first. I don't want to put myself there in that situation. But back in that year, I did go for a day, and I had a margarita at this place on the Via Revolucion. I had a taco on a street stand. I didn't drink any water there. I bought a big old bottle of mezcal for $4. It was a big bottle. It was like bigger than a fifth, right? Well, come on, because I hadn't got soda then. It was, and I think I got some silver and some leather, some little whatever, which I'm sure got lost or whatever. But anyway, that's the only time I've ever been there. Now I would never have anybody say, "Yeah, go there for spring break." I know somebody that went on some kind of pilgrimage to climb some. There was something that a bunch of hippies went to a couple of years before the pandemic, where they went to somewhere in central Mexico, and I think they climbed a mountain and they went to see something that was maybe something having to do with the Incas or something. But she, a female, who I met, I've known her since when I lived in San Francisco. She was going to college then, so she's somebody that's a friend of mine, but who usually lives and works near New York City. And anyway, she decided to go and do this thing, and I was so afraid for her because I'm thinking a caravan of white tourists, the backpacks, the hippies, they could be slaughtered just like any other groups. Unfortunately, they got there, got to see, do whatever they wanted to do, and they got home safe. But I was so worried, you know. But you can't. I have an adventurous soul myself, so who am I to visiting Sweden in addition to Finland on this trip? Now, one thing I can't put my head around is Trump was joking about, and he either's joking, not really joking about if we acquired Greenland. And I'm thinking, okay, what I know of the area, and excuse me for my ignorance, both culturally and geographically, but it seems to me that part of the world, it's so cold, and it's all these remote things. Unless you want some area because you want to mine it for minerals we need, I can understand that. And now I saw from watching the show on the Weather Channel, there's gold mining also in Greenland. And there's something where this lady was, she was a geologist, and she was finding semi-precious stones like rubies and garnets and stuff. And she was actually, you would get permission to find through sleuthing and things, you would find evidence of certain things, and you would invest in this thing that squirts water down and you're panning. And anyway, however they find stones, I guess you see them in the ground and you get a pickaxe and you poke them out, or I don't know. But anyway, you have to make the investment in flying over there, and you're staying in these, like, it's like a construction site kind of, like it's like a trailer without wheels attached, but maybe they do have wheels. And I can imagine that's not very stable if there was a big storm. And you make the investment and you go and give it a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and you see if you get any gold, you see you get any things. And then of course you got to sell, say, share a percentage of it with the person that told you where the site is. So there are all these people putting their hands out, flying out of Newark nonstop to Helsinki next Wednesday night. A nonstop is good though. Oh, that's great. You're not going to have to worry about making connections and that stuff. I would think that any flight would ideally be nonstop. I will definitely, Drew. I'm going to look at the chat replay and on this, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to write your name down. I'm going to put up my altar, and I'm going to just, imagine the protection thing. Well, you know how my mom, who doesn't like to fly, by the way, and she would imagine that God was holding up the airplane with strings attached on either wing, and he was holding them, and he would just walk and carry it to, or fly or however, and he would take you safely where you needed to go. And this is what comforted her. If I'm ever in a passenger in a car and I'm scared because they're driving me crazy, I like to imagine four angels, either here, 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 or one at this wheel, one at this wheel, one at this wheel, and one at this wheel. And I actually invoke them and imagine them, or hold a crystal and imagine them, and it makes me feel safer. Drew Henderson says, I am not too. Why isn't my channel monetized? Okay, let me get to that. Uh, a couple of times YouTube tried to shut me down. I like to get political. I like to do news commentary. I like to talk about certain forbidden concepts. And there are things that I was touching upon when Trump was trying to get reelected. And they sometimes change the laws about what we're allowed to talk about. And if you even broach, sidestep certain subjects, they can accuse you, like, say I'm doing just a cooking video, or say I was cutting my mom's hair one time, or it was one time, it was just, family type videos or whatever, but I happen to make some comment. Sometimes I get sarcastic and I say things, because I'm kind of a wise ass. Or some, like one time, I got in trouble because somebody asked me about $30 hamburgers here in town. I was like, do I look to you like I go and pay money for $30 hamburgers? They do exist. I've seen, oh my God, you can't even get a $5.99 special anywhere that I know of. Well, maybe McDonald's or something, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. I could tell you about soup kitchens. I could tell you about places where people go to get free meals and stuff, even though I'd rather not name names because, I don't want to. Sometimes I have good experiences, but sometimes I've had bad experiences. And last thing you want to do is actually name somebody because then all of a sudden you're on their radar and they're on your radar, and then you make enemies, and then I have to worry about my personal safety. And I'm trying to actually not be known as a local YouTuber here. You can be any place else, but if you're local, I get scared because how do I know you're not going to get pissed off and say, "Well, wait a minute, I don't like the way she described this situation," even though I'm so vague usually, there's no way you could tell what I'm talking about. But there's a concept behind something. If I want to make a video about like police harassment, how they treat my homeless friends, I'm not going to make these videos so rich in detail that you're going to figure out which cop I'm talking about and which homeless friend I'm talking about. Unless, of course, they are actually in my video and they're talking about their experience. In which case, if somebody wants to talk about how the cops jacked them up and stole all their clothes and got rid of their things, that happens more and more to people around here. No. Well, what they did is they have age restricted some of my videos, and when that happens, it's never been for any of these live streams, incidentally, but it has been okay. I had some instructional videos where I teach about how to increase potency temporarily just by wetting your weed and everything. I made an instruction video about that, and that got age restricted. And that means that, like, normally these videos, you don't need to be signed into YouTube. And of course, if you're not signed in, you can't comment. But there's lots of people who they're not signed in, so they can't comment, and they just watch my video um, wherever, like libraries or wherever, or say they're watching it on their TVs, which I can watch YouTube on my TV. The only thing is I can't see the chat stuff, but the sound's a lot better on the TV. I really like that. I love to sleep. I know I've said this before. I like to sleep on the TV using YouTube videos that are the affirmations that are usually they're usually done hidden in the things, so they're actually subliminals. I like them the best. They bypass your conscious mind and they go straight to the subconscious. But the thing is, it doesn't happen right away. You're hoping that after a couple of weeks you're going to expect results. I mean, you're going to do it for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. But yeah, they got me that instructional that vape review about the cake vape. They age restricted that. A few other things. I think one or two of the party videos on the boardwalk they age restricted, but for the most part, I wish they wouldn't do that because I think another thing that happens when they age restrict things, I think that might also prevent that particular video from being able to get ads put on it. Even though, what if you were selling bongs? What if you were selling rolling papers? I would think my channel would be the exact kind of channel you would want to put ads on. Oh, she's doing great. Hey, before I fire up that little bit of weakness, let's sneak up on her. I think maybe, hopefully, the last time I saw her, she was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then I think she was putting trousers on or something. But, oh, she's talking on the phone or something.
I don't know if there's anything on there.
Oh, see her. Shh. Say hello. No. I'm live streaming. They want to know if you're okay. I didn't kill you.
I'm fine.
Okay. See, do you see Mom?
I'm on face.
Okay, she's not FaceTiming.
I'm face.
That glow is maybe showing your face. I don't know.
Kat and I have decided I'm going to move to the next room tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to move the thing to the room with the light in it, so we can.
Oh, so you can see her face when you're FaceTiming. Good idea.
Everything down here.
Good.
Well, that'll mean I'll need your help.
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm not planning on going anywhere. Okay. All right, we'll do this. Okay, what my mom was just talking about is that you're following me. She was okay. Well, let's start this. My room is there. This is my mom's room here. But this room here, I finally got the lights to be working on this. So what we're going to do is when my mom, I guess there's a certain time that's most convenient for her friend, right? They like to do, but friend got her an iPad. I don't know if it's the latest and greatest or whatever, but as long as it works, right? And my mom has these friends, they're husband and wife, and they moved all the way down to Virginia. They used to be friends when my mom was a scout person. Anyway, my mom's friends are so scattered now, and a lot of them are no longer with us, unfortunately. But this lady has sent my mom care packages, including hot sauce, honey. Well, I use up all the honey for my coffee and tea because I can't consume beverages unsweetened. I wish I could, but it's hard. But anyway, my mother is saying that rather than being in her dark, the room, people that we pay rent to still have not fixed the lights here. This was dark for so long, and I was trying to flicker the lights because you see, I was trying to save on the electric bill by not having this light on all the time. I was using that. It used to be before the light got fixed in the hallway. I would have this light on also because it helped so you could see in the hallway, right? I hope that wasn't a mosquito that came in. Maybe that was a big. There's some bug that looks like a giant mosquito, but it's actually harmless. A lot of people kill it unnecessarily. And I'm going to hope that it's harmless, even though I'm still getting bit up alive. But anyway, getting back to my mom, she says that she wants me to set this up for her to use the iPad and talk to her friend in this room since we'll actually be able to see each other. And so I can do that, anything I need to move, Today, my mom, for their physical therapy, they took her and her walker and a cane and they took her outside onto the main street. And I don't know where they went, but she gets twice a week, she gets a physical therapist that comes in here, and usually they use this room in here. And my mom, her walker's here, and she sits in this chair here. And this normally, I wasn't even allowed to be in this room. This room actually is under the purview of the other person that lives here. But we put pressure on him saying that my mother needed a place. Oh yeah, I needed a place to put some things that I couldn't keep on putting clothes and stuff in the hallway because she needs to be able to move down the hall to use the bathroom and stuff. So I needed a place to put certain things especially from that front closet that used to have our coats and stuff. When we had the roof cave in, we needed to move things out of there. We needed to put them someplace. I had very little room in my room because I'd even started, packing, as you know, but things still needed to be put someplace. Anyway, some coats are right there, as you can see, in this shopping cart, which wasn't mine, but the other person that lives here had it here for whatever reason. But those are Christmas decorations. There's a whole bunch of Christmas decorations, which is what is in this. Okay, I don't know what I'm filming here. It's that orange bag here. Those are Christmas decorations. Now, all this shit is the person that lives in that other room there. This is his. Okay. This is obviously my mom's. But this is a piece of luggage that I found last week. It has little wheels on it. Little wheels. And I'll give you an idea of what the size is by you look at the radiator and you look at that. And I've been saying I needed a okay, Drew Henderson says, hi Leather, there's this one diner I've been going to frequently for about 10 years, and recently some other regulars there started asking me if I wanted their leftover dinner they couldn't finish. Did you take that as maybe people were trying to judge you on a class issue and you thought that maybe, because right away I would think because I hang out with so many homeless people, like somebody even in the chat room when I went live last night, somebody actually thought that I was homeless because I started a chat room walking around outside. And I know I talk about my homeless friends a lot, but my friends are my friends. And if I can let people hang out here for a while so they're not sitting ducks for the cops. Lately, we keep on hiring more cops because I guess they got in the budget. I don't know how. And the thing is, while I'm definitely pro-police generally, here it seems like mostly all they're doing is focusing on homeless people. You know, they're all giving out tickets, $150 for being caught sleeping in public, and this whole smoke pot in smoke pot in public in Atlantic City, New Jersey, when you have practically every street has at least one dispensary on it. You can't smoke in the casinos. You can't smoke even in the casino rooms. When you know the entrance to all the casinos, it says specifically, even though marijuana is legal in the state of New Jersey for adults 21 and over, you cannot smoke in the casino rooms, even the smoking rooms. Even though I heard the seventh floor in a lot of the casinos, that's where everybody goes. But if you have a vape pen, you can get away with it then. The thing is, I notice vape pens don't get me high anymore. I don't feel them. Drew Henderson says they tried saying they didn't want to waste the food. No, thank you. I don't feel like eating someone else's food. Well, you know what I would do if it didn't seem. You can always give it to somebody else once you get it. You know, like here, I notice people set food that's packaged real neatly, and they'll set it on top of trash and recycling things right in front of Tropicana Casino here. One time, I will confess this. This was when I was still out there playing my guitar, and I was coming home like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was there quite a long time because you keep on hoping that if I stay a little longer, somebody's going to be feeling generous or whatever. You never know. But this was shrimp scampi. Usually Italian food is loaded with cheese, and I do not eat cheese. This was angel hair pasta with big shrimps in it, big pieces of basil loaded with garlic, and no cheese. No cheese. Just garlic and shrimp and the basil, and oh my god, and it was so wonderful. Yeah, I'm always feeding the little birds. I try not to feed the seagulls, the pigeons. Oh, I talk nice to the pigeons. I'm so mad at myself. I never keep nuts with me. And the thing is, the squirrels here, they get so close. And there's some people that actually, they'll crawl over them and they feed them, and they got such precious little faces. And the thing is, they go to sleep at night. And I'm more out at night than in the daytime. But if I had nuts with me, I could be feeding them. They are so pheasant. Yeah, I heard that. Yes, I read, especially when people try to feed swans. I didn't know if it was bad for all birds, herds of swans and geese particularly. I read some things. I forget why it's bad for them. If it fills their stomach up so they can't eat, there's no room for nutritious things or whatever. But I forget. But you know what? That said, the pigeons around here, I love actually doing a throw things out the window kind of thing. Especially if I don't want to go, somebody's sleeping on my stairwell, right? And I got something that I found as a science experiment, and I don't want it attracting vermin. So I will make sure that I'm not hitting a person, right? And I will throw things out real hard and make sure that it's out in the middle of the street and not hitting somebody's car or something. Now, I've been feeding some stray cats occasionally here. I wish I could safely trap them so I could then have a safe, because they say if you feed them, you got to fix them, right? But still, you have to make sure that that trap is not going to be in some place where a person can take the cat and hurt him. Okay, see what I'm doing right now? This is chicken that I didn't want to waste it. The person that I live with, the other person I live with, he threw out some Popeye's chicken. He had it sitting out a couple of days, and I picked it out of the trash. And what I did, since I can't use a toaster oven anymore, I tore it up in real small pieces, like I'll show you. Okay? Then I put a little bit of oil in this, and I fried it for a while, and I stirred it up and stuff. And I ate some. When he said, you also got sick of the people at the diner I go to asking me how much my vacation costs. Yeah, that is rude. I would try to say I forgot, or, see, I could make up stories, but then I'd be feeling like, why should I be made to feel that I owe these people an explanation? Sometimes, though, I find, like, with myself as a YouTuber, because on one hand, I'm pretty honest about my lack of really being very flush financially, and the fact that I can't go out pursuing different monetary things because I'm pretty much stuck here taking care of my mom, right? And I'm not saying I mind that, but I'm just saying that sometimes I really hate it when my attempts at trying to find ways to be self-sufficient are being uh, left with interference, such as the cops taking me and my guitar off the boardwalk under threat of arrest and all that stuff, you know. So I'm doing the best I can, right? And meanwhile, I know occasionally I post videos showing hauls of different kinds. And like, if somebody's dumping off a whole bunch of free clothes for people to dig through, damn right I'm going to dig through. If I can find some things for my mom, for myself, and I'll call it a thrift store thing, but I'm not going into a store and buying money for these things. For the most part, there's this free shit, right? But now occasionally I do decide to get some things on Temu. Okay, sure. Like the pot leaf socks. Come on, I'm probably not going to get them as a giveaway, right? And I think that that is a real investment because you got to represent. You know, if you wear pot leaves on, then people are going to want their county prison. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, this is getting curiouser and curiouser. You know what? I should have taken my rice out. This is rice I cooked up yesterday. Well, my mom thinks I should just put all this chicken to the side and do the rice thing. But the thing is, I don't want it to burn on the edges, so I'm going to set it aside in a separate container. Okay, I'm going to just take these and put it here. I can always put it in to reheat one more time. I don't want this stuff to get real hard and tough. You know, I believe in redemption, and I believe in giving people second chances that have paid their quote-unquote debt to society. But I also believe that not every person out of prison is necessarily a good person that I would still feel safe around. If this guy had committed rapes, for instance, I would not want to be around that person. I would live with that person. I'd be scared. You know, I have friends who say they have felonies, but I'm pretty sure my friends haven't got caught doing scumbag things, you know. And if, say, I found out that somebody had killed somebody, I'm hoping and guessing that they deserved it. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, I always want to cover this so that our cute little Mises don't eat my food. I'm just going to use this lid from the Folgers thing. These are wonderful for, say somebody does something really wonderful, like drops you off a 2-pound bag of sugar. Somebody finally came through with sugar today. I'm so happy. My friend who fixes my computer issues. Oh, I have so many mice. They're doing square dances and when something's climbing up, something's up here that's much heavier than mice that I believe might be squirrels. They fucking run up there. But we were told that was a wildlife problem. And I'm just hoping that one of them doesn't come through the acoustic tile and end up on a bed or someplace where you don't want either the tile stuff, which I hope is not asbestos. But yes, we have a lot of mice. A lot of the mice live here in the stove. That's why I don't dare use the oven. Can you imagine killing a mouse that way? That would be a hell of a thing. I don't use the 2 back burners, so I don't hurt them. You know, but you gotta keep your food covered. That's why I put things like, Okay. I store bags of rice in something like this. It's metal. They can't chew through it. I put things in the refrigerator. I put things in my plastic shelves that have the real hard plastic that they can't squeeze through. And you can tell when they do squeeze through because I know what mouse turds look like. Okay, I am going to. Oh, my mom said that she thought that I should add some peppers to this. I don't know why I can't find the sweet peppers. Oh, here they are. Okay. See, I got sweet peppers. Dude, Drew Henderson says a few times chipmunks got stuck in my dryer vents and it stunk so bad. Oh. I hear that you gotta check the dryer vents for lint, and it's important to use one of those bottle brushes to clean them out or something. Or maybe get a vacuum it out, or maybe some people use Stanley steamer. And I heard that if you don't clean them out, they cause fires or something. I'm gonna take a few of these peppers. I have this whole bag for the chicken lady. Well, she doesn't drop the chicken off back where she used to drop it off before because I heard somebody put some terrible things in the chicken. But they put, you say spores of mice crap can cause somebody to end up in a hospital. You talk about the hantavirus? I have heard of that. Of course, I'm the person that I rescue them from the glue traps and I put them different places. Oh, I thought I saw it. Oops. Whoa. I almost caught my shoe on the tripod of this. That's the thing, is some of these things are a little unstable. Do that vacuuming out periodically and also clean the lint out of filter every time. Yeah. There's a filter here underneath here. And I think that was washed one time. It's got that greasy stuff caught on there. But right now, I'm going to go to the sink and wash these peppers off. I never did get around to smoking that bowl, by the way. Had a virus, yeah. Oh, you know what made me nervous today? A friend of mine who had COVID came by here for a few minutes. And I was so nervous, because even though he said he totally got the treatment and everything, and the reason why he wasn't at that place on Saturdays that I thought he was going to be in is because he said he was in jail for 11 days. Something about falling asleep someplace and getting a trespassing charge or something. And because he's a diabetic, and sometimes he has these reactions when he's late on getting his medicines or something. And I don't know, he acts like, he's like slurring his speech, but he's not drunk. He doesn't drink. But I don't know, he's a good friend of mine. And he is somebody that we were going to go to Washington, D.C. for some different events, you know. And I knew him. He used to drive my friend Scrap Iron Michael around. Scrap Iron Michael was a hard laborer, and one of the things he did is he went in people's trash and took recyclable things, and he took them to places where they weigh them, and you get paid for your copper and your glass and your metal. And I mean, I used to do that on a very small scale when I lived in Hollywood. I would go to the drinking alleys. I would go there with a laundry cart, and I would get their cans and their bottles and their plastic, and I would save, of course, my home recycling. And then they had all these places that had big scales and big giant barrels, and you just drop off the glass, your plastic, everything except for the paper, because that was much cheaper. You needed to have much more of that. And nobody ever kept the paper and cardboard because cockroaches breed in that. But I'm going to take these things now. I am a seed saver, but I got to find something that's paper and absorbent. Let me see. Yeah, I want to keep. Yeah, I want to keep this over paper. Anyway, yeah, my friend showed up and gave me a 2 pound thing of sugar, and I'm just, because I was dehydrating myself because it's like my mom. The great thing about her is that she doesn't want sugar in her coffee or her tea. She's the easiest person to serve things for because I don't have to worry about how much, measuring this and that, as long as it's good coffee. But something about making coffee that I can't drink because I have nothing to put it in. And it's a real bummer, you know. And so sometimes I just don't bother making any at all, but now there's no reason not to. But no, I think seed saving is really important. Even if you don't know the specific genus of the plant, say, okay, this year I didn't grow a garden because they're shitting dog shit in the garden lately, and you really want to grow onions where the people are walking their dogs. That's honestly is what's been going on. I saw that and I said, no, I'm not. We're not doing dog shit. I'm not getting E. coli. I remember one person asking you if you were homeless last night. Yeah, that's why I figured let me come in and show that yes, I have. See, I keep on forgetting that even though I think I'm talking largely to people that have been watching my channel for a number of years, according to the stats, a whole lot of brand new people are watching and they have no idea. And so if all they see is my drunk friends or whatever, they're going to, then all of a sudden they'll see a Trump thing and they're going to be surprised. Like, dude, I practically worship the ground he walks on. This is news to you. Okay, well, you know. Well, people are dropping off my Instagram account. They're dropping off like flies. It's like everybody seems to hate Trump. I had 1,017. I'm thinking, oh, they really like my cute little pictures, right? And then all of a sudden it's dropping off. It's dropping off. Every day it drops off. Now I'm down to 863 or something. I can't live stream on that platform. And the thing is, this is my first love. YouTube is my first love and my first loyalty. But still, as a content creator, I want to spread myself out there. And, I really want to try out TikTok once we know that it's safe. I think I could have fun on it, since I have a cell phone. Even though it's looking less and less likely like I might be getting that iPhone now. Because, and plus, instead of it being $25, they want to up it to $50 a month. I mean, I think it would be better to just buy the damn thing outright. And plus, that way I could get not the 256 one, but the one that has the most storage. But I keep on reading articles saying that actually the previous iteration was better quality in certain ways. So that's the thing that I'm getting confused with it, because I'm a person that buys on specs. I'm a person that studies and reads. I want to find out how good the camera is. I want to know how long battery life is. I want to know how long it's going to take to charge a damn thing. I want to know, is this going to get hot? Reading reviews, because sometimes things get really hot and people are afraid to even put it on your skin for too long because it actually burns. And that's something to think about if you're setting your phone on a pile of papers or something, or if you're going to have it by your bedside and you're going to go to sleep. Am I going to have to worry about, things? And the thing is that I charge both of these phones in the bathroom because, first of all, it makes these random chirps and chimes and stuff. I don't want to hear that. You know, because it'll scare me. And what if I'm close to something, a glass of water or something? I'll be taking a shower that I hadn't planned on. You know, or what if I'm carrying something and I jump? One time when my mom was whooping about the mouse, you may have seen the video where I ended up almost knocking my computer down because my foot got caught on the charging cable and the computer started to fall down. And if I hadn't been standing right there near my window where the computer was, and I hadn't caught that, oh, now at least I got all the data transferred off that computer, and that's being turned in as we speak, and they're replacing it outright. You know, rather than me go try to find another $300 computer somewhere with the specs that I want. You know, 16 gigabyte ROM and 1 terabyte hard drive. You know, it's funny. Those were the specs that I really had my heart set on, and I didn't want to pay more than $300 for it. And you're thinking, how the heck can you expect that? And this was not something I got on Temu either. This was something that I think was found on Walmart.com. Oh man, I wish I had a fly swatter. Hold on. Okay. Oh, you know what? These flies, I swear, they're so intelligent. They know when you come back with something, and it's like they're always gone once you have something to beat their asses. Or else they get up there and then they go way up against the fluorescent light things where you know you don't want to hit too hard because you don't want to break one of those things. You know. Okay. All these seeds. This is stupid putting it back. I just took the seeds out and I'm collecting them here and I'm setting peppers right on them. That's not too smart. Well, my friend who's on the steps, he was telling me a couple nights ago he was and his friend Jose were sleeping on the steps. And because one of my friends has big pain issues and he's a really big guy, he slept with the door open and his foot kind of sticking out. And apparently attracted attention of a cop. And they first thought that they were smoking crack there. And if I had known what was going on, I guess I could have gone and vouched for them. And assuming, you know, as long as I still have my makeup on and I'm looking good, I don't mind. If this were to happen in the wee hours, then what would I do? You know. Sometimes, though, when my friends are staying here, sometimes I just keep my makeup on. And I kind of catnap a little bit with the makeup on. So that if something happens, I can go down there. And plus, I never know when they leave. And of course, they don't know how to lock up when they leave. So I need to, as soon as I wake up, go downstairs. And you can tell when people aren't there anymore. Then I have to lock the gate, lock the door. But there's that time, that couple hours between when they leave and when I wake up and I check the thing, that the thing is unlocked. And obviously that's a security risk. But, you know, I don't sleep much. Because I seem to wake up naturally pretty early anyway. Partly because I have my ear open for things like doorbells. Partly because I have my ear open for things like my mom, if she falls. Even though that one time I was totally asleep, and it's a good thing I had Felix was staying here, and it was like, if I don't go to bed until 4 o'clock, and I actually fall asleep fairly soon after laying down, and then all of a sudden something happens at 6 a.m., I might be in that deep REM sleep, which was what it must have been, because I was just the second coming wouldn't have waken me up. I was really, I have no recollection of this at all. And I don't even think there was a whole lot of weed involved. It was just, you know. Okay, I'm going to carefully put this over. Whoa. These warped floors, you still can't totally get used to them. Okay, what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to set this right here. I'm going to hope no fly touches this because I'm going to go and hit my hand with soap and water right here. You know. soap we had. And you know what? I'm gonna wash this too. I gotta get one of those metal things. Okay, these are really great. If I ever showed you guys these before, I got these on either Team or Wish a couple years ago. They're metal infused scrubbing cloths. I got like 18 of them for a little more than $1. I've still not thrown one out yet. They're so great for doing my dishes and scrubbing things when I'd say I'm scraping meat off of a pan and it gets things. I scrub with these, you know. Whoa! You know what? I don't like the smell of that, so I'm using some extra of this antibacterial palm olive because I am still kind of a germaphobe, and maybe I should use a new one of those things. That bucket was supposed to be for mugs, the crystal cut stuff, and then the plastic silverware. Oh, and then I think I have a bag for journals. And I would wash these things and I would put them in there too. But then I decided to take a bunch of the plastic things and I have them in this to make them easy for me to grab. Because my mom, she likes her metal things and have the special handles on them. And I keep them in a box in her room. Certain things like the big knives and things I have, let me show you. You see in there? Things like knives and big giant spoons and things. Make it easy for me to get at. And, you know, I try to have a system. You know, all this housework and drudgery was not what I expected of my life. But you know what? Things need to be done. They don't get done by themselves, you know. But when the people who don't know me and my history and stuff have the nerve to tell me that I should go out and get a job, you know, I always take care of myself last. I try to prioritize this channel over my own health even. But that's because this channel is like the biggest thing I have going for me. And the only testament really to the fact that I'm living on this earth and doing something. Because all my Hollywood screen credits, you know, people don't care about what you did yesterday. They want to know, what have you done lately? You know. Also, one of my friends was telling me they thought that I should go out to Hollywood go get all my stuff out of both of my storage units and just have it shipped out here. And of course, I don't know where the hell I put everything, but you know what? That would be a great way to stop paying that rent every month. Because that's, I don't know, close to $150 for both those units. Something like that. Maybe a little bit less. I don't know. But that's kind of ridiculous. And I never could imagine a time where I doubted that my destiny was to go back there and live. But I feel like I'm running out of options for places to live that I think are both affordable and safe. Oh, you bastard. The fly got on my phone, but on a corner. You know, I can't very well hit the phone with the fly swatter. And I'm just trying to wash my damn thing. That I may just throw out. I lost the washer for this, so the water comes out in very full force. And then it ended up getting all over things too. Yeah. But if anything gets on the floor, then I end up mopping it up or wiping it up with paper towels or things I'm about to wash, so it's kind of like I'm cleaning the floor in spots. Okay. No, I don't want to touch this with my feet because I'm afraid it's going to tip over. But give me a second. Okay. You know what? I'm getting thirsty. I think I want a pot of coffee. I mean, a cup of coffee. Since I have sugar. Oh, you know what? I got to swing it. This is cowboy coffee. It's not in a basket. It's floating around. And that will splash myself. I think I hear my friend yelling or something. Hold on. Let's see what's going on here. Follow me. Is that you? You okay?
No. Here.
You're not okay? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, now I won't give it to you.
Now I see that my signal just went off and then back on again.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put it in?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to set this. Set you. What is this network name? Did you find the thing?
You just have to you have to put it all you have to put the whole thing in.
Oh, okay, all right.
And you have to do this one too.
I just, okay. Um, hmm. Whoops. Whoa. I almost fell down the steps.
Oh, don't do that.
I don't want to do that. That would just totally suck. And it says connected.
Alright.
And when we do that with this one? Okay. Alright.
I don't want to use that.
Okay, and now from now on, when they get to my house, they can just get in. Okay. Oh. Okay, and all right. Let me ask you this. Then you press. Where's the save on this?
You just put it in.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I'm putting my information in so that he can log in to my Wi-Fi. Okay. I'll show you what I did. I put the because it's in my mouth. I put the password in it, and you can see that. And now, how do you? Where's the save? Because that's it. Oh, okay. Because I didn't know how to make the keyboard go away. Are you okay? Okay, I'm gonna run back up there. I never did get around to inhaling that little half a bowl that I'm pretty sure I have because I got too distracted with a bunch of other shit. You know, my mom, she ended up saying all she wanted was a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I think she's trying to guilt trip my ass. What do you say?
gotta feed mom.
You guys think she's trying to guilt trip my ass?
Feed mom.
Yeah, I guess I better. So, okay. Oh man, I don't know why I feel so hot. Oh, another thing. Oh, good, I put her toilet back. She has this special toilet that fits over a regular toilet, and that is this thing. And whenever me or any of my friends need to use toilet for any reason, I have to go and move it, or somebody moves it, so that because it's really hard to get comfortable and maneuver around and do whatever. And anyway, I don't want to get careless and forget to move it back because what if, say, I decided that I was tired and I laid down and I took a little nap. And all of a sudden my mom decided she had to go to the bathroom. And then there, I have the toilet somewhere around there and it causes her more trouble using her toilet. And I can't be a screw up like that. Okay, now I'm obviously back in my studio now. Didn't I pour myself a cup of fucking coffee? See, this is what happens when you're so multitasking and you end up putting your own self and your own needs last. And that's what I do because I'm the damn caregiver. You know how many times I pour a cup of coffee and I let it sit and it gets cold. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It's okay enough. It's not, coffee does not need to be boiling hot. But the thing is, sometimes I forget that it's there, and I end up letting it get cold. And then if I'm lucky, I also forgot to sweeten it. So all I have to do is put it back in the carafe and it heats up again. If, however, I've already sweetened it, I'm really screwed because what am I going to do? I can't put it back in the coffee and screw up the pot. And then my mom can't drink it because she hates the idea of anything being sweet. Okay. I have sugar here. I am so happy that my friend gave me sugar. It was, the person who said he was going to get me sugar for whatever reason didn't. and I didn't want to say anything. I kept my mouth shut because you never want to seem ungrateful, or make people feel bad that you remember things they said when shit happens, and say a person, so many things can happen, and that's why I never like to tell people what I'm gonna do for you. If I get around to doing it, that's great. And when it's convenient or easy enough for me, or when I get around to doing it. And the reason why I said when I get around to doing it is because I have a package of stuff for my friends in Washington D.C. that literally I had ready to go before the pandemic. Okay, and I'm at it myself. And a lot of it is kitchen stuff. And you see, I got a bunch of extra kitchen spices the other day so that I can either ideally take it up there when I go, or if they're not doing that lay in state thing for Charlie Kirk, then I may have no choice but to ship it. But I'm really kind of reluctant to ship something like that because I know how expensive shipping is. I just got a package from a friend of mine who also watches my channel here, and I just about lost a whole lot of weight very quickly when I saw how much the shipping cost was on the label. I'm saying, oh my goodness, And so I'm thinking anything I could take over to Washington. I hope I can get by with only using 3. I'm trying to, because obviously the more sugar you use at a time, the quicker you go through it, and I don't want to go through it quickly. But I also want to seal this up so I can put the lid back on there so that I don't tempt anybody, mice or other things. Okay. Now, I'm gonna, okay, good. I'm gonna go ahead and put this away here. Oh, it feels so nice to be able to drink coffee again. Okay, now these are seeds. Yeah. Take all these pepper seeds and so they don't fall into the water. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this. You see, that'll make sure that there's enough for like a cup or 2. Oh, okay. So the seeds will be here. Fine. Alright. Now, soon I can just get ready to do the cooking here. I know, probably thinking, when am I going to get to coffee at 9 p.m.? Yep. For a while there, I actually went. Well, this, by the way, is half decaf. This is Dunkin' Donuts decaf and Dunkin' Donuts cold brew, quote unquote, which is just a form of coffee that they say you brew it normally and then you put it over ice. But I did go through a phase for a couple of years where I cut my caffeine more than in half. Because there was a time when I would drink pot after pot after pot, and then I would drink big 2-liter bottles of diet soda, and of course that often has caffeine in it. And I was getting a couple of heart flutters, and everything. And I got scared because my mother is a heart patient, And well, my grandma, she got scared at one point, and she switched totally right overnight to decaf. Straight overnight. And if you're used to drinking caffeine, I keep on hearing about headaches and stuff you can get and stuff. So I just did the half caffeine thing for a while. And for a while, me and my mother, we did this together. And then I went through a time where I even stopped smoking weed for a little bit. This was for about 6 months, 3/4 of a year before my father died, and the same amount of time after he died. I stopped smoking weed completely because I guess I thought that I was having either a bad reaction to the weed or effects of caffeine, and it wasn't either of those things. But anyway, I went back to smoking weed and I stopped reducing my caffeine intake the way I had been. Uh, I still like to mix the decaf with it sometimes. Sometimes I do drink straight decaf, like especially if I'm making it late at night. Then I'll make a pot of decaf. Say my mom's already asleep, but I'm kind of feeling kind of wired because I'm doing a bunch of housework. In the wee hours, it's a good time for filming. In the wee hours, it's a good time for getting some laundry done. Because, I fill out a basin of water and put some soap in it, and I do things according to how dirty it is. That's what's in the load. And then, of course, my mom's things that she sits around in for weeks at a time, those take extra scrubbing and stuff because that tends to be dirtier. Likewise, if I would have a skirt that I have used when I have to sit out in public because, say, I'm going to a dinner or a lunch or something and I have no choice but to sit down, then those things, or if I have to ride public transportation, then those things I am definitely going to be washing sooner rather than later. Or actually, no, I like to get a couple of wearings out of them. And that's the thing is, the more content I create, because I have to change clothes for things, or I feel that I should, then that means I have a lot more laundry. But certain things I can wear more than once, like skirts, you don't notice if I'm wearing that again, so I can get a few more wearings out of them. A lot of times, though, with shirts, usually I won't get more than one wearing out of them, because even if I'm only wearing it for 15 minutes that I might be wearing a video, like now, of course, live streams tend to be a lot longer than that. I still got sweat on my clothes, and if I don't wash it and I just put it where the other clothes are, say it's in a sealed plastic bag, the bacterial growth will cause everything to smell bad and stuff, and that's the last thing I want. And the thing is, I have a lot of my clothes in plastic to keep the vermin out of it, because I hate having to rewash clothes because I found mouse turds on it. And I understand the mice are in cotton, so you have to work your way around that, which means making sure that your clothes are wrapped securely in plastic and then put in a harder piece of luggage or something. And I've been packing for over 10 years, because every time I would get into a fight with a certain other person that lives here, I'm thinking, I want to start packing earlier so that I have a chance to get the hell out of here. I can just get my shit out of here. Oh, this is good coffee. Oh, here's another one of the things I forgot to put in. This is the Dunkin' Donuts Colombian. But I grew up with Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Sometimes you get the coffee beans. My mom used to have a grinder, not the electric kind like we use so much now that have other uses besides coffee, but the kind you pour them, and it came with a little tray underneath, and you poured things in this bell kind of thing, and it had the thing, and you and you just you put some elbow grease in it, and you got whatever the kind of grind you wanted, and the finished product that you used your own labor. And I forget why we no longer have it, what they can happen to them, but she had to give it to coffee grinder heaven, I guess. Except for the coffee ground. Oh. Oh. I wonder why we end up with brown teeth. Sometimes I wish the Japanese custom of blackening teeth would come in fashion again. Then people wouldn't have to worry about having perfect smiles and everything. I want to put this back. But it's obviously important to have that sugar protected. Good. Everything fits. See? Everything fits in here. And I use the teensiest, tiniest little red Solo cup as my coffee measure. Okay, now we're going to try to do this thing. Okay. Alright. I'm going to scrape this up so that it doesn't burn. But this I'm going to add to the fried rice later, because it will give some texture. I don't want to really clean this because this is still flavor, you know. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to start with adding the oil to it first. I'm going to just start tearing this up. Rather than get a knife out and deal with, since I'm not using a cutting board, I'm doing these dangerous things using my hand and stuff, which I don't want somebody to emulate and cut their finger off. And next thing you know, I get a complaint from YouTube saying that I'm emulating dangerous knife play and stuff, and I don't want to do that. So, hello. I'm using dangerous fingernail play. And plus, I really do believe that when you're a content creator, you should be educational, and you do have a certain responsibility to not, because you never know what a person's going to try because they see you doing it. And even though I say, look, I'm doing it this way because even though I know the quote-unquote proper way to do it, I'm just doing something that I don't want to dirty another dish, you know. See, it's so much easier to just tear it into strips and then take this. Can you even see what I'm doing? I don't know if you can. See. This is the red pepper. And these are sweet peppers. I could do onion with this also. I could scramble an egg also, you know. I want to do this first. Oh, I'm trying to think of what else I can. Oh. Hey. You know what else I could add to this? The day that I was making the steaks, my mom and I only ate the two little ones. Look at this big one. And I'm still saving these bones for, these marrow bones for soup. Oh. I took a lot of that marrow though, and I put it over rice, and oh, that was quite yummy. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Oh, I burped on camera. What will we do? So you asked me why I wasn't monetized. I got one, you know, you get strikes for disinformation or whatever, and I try to contest different things. Well, I talked down what I could. I have one warning left, and the only way I can get it expunged, I forget exactly what I have to do. I think I need to watch some videos or something and say, yes, I learned the error of my ways. I won't talk about liking to dig my snots out of my nose and eat them after sticking them out up my butt. Because obviously that is against the YouTube terms of service. You can't be eating boogers or stashing them in untoward places because people might emulate such behavior. Leave your snots alone. YouTube doesn't like it. So anyway, that's why I'm not monetized. Oh, plus another thing, you need to, in order to get paid, you need to have an AdSense account. You need to get a bank account because they will not pay you anything until you have $100 coming to you, which can take quite a long time, especially if you're as slow growing as I am. Okay. And you need to have a bank account that things are deposited in. I do not have a bank account, so that's another thing. And I do think that ads really must be annoying for most people. Say you're in a hurry, you only have a few minutes, and you want to pick your time wisely. If you played every ad, that really can inconvenience people. And a lot of times people are impatient and they'll try to skip things if they can. I try generally to let them play because I want to support my fellow creators. And I'm thinking if my ad gets you 1/18 of a cent, that's still something toward your goals. And I want to build and support our own. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to find a bowl. Okay, now I'm going to go get a metal fork. I don't usually use metal to eat in, but I will use one to scramble an egg. So before I fiddle with this steak here, I'm going to let it get to room temperature. I'm going to scramble one egg, and I don't like to use whisks because to me they just spread the egg all over the place. Oh, and let's not forget, I never did smoke that weed because I've been too busy doing things, but I'm going to scramble and crack this egg. Now, I'm going to show you something. I want to talk about eggs for a minute. Did you know that the United States is the only country that refrigerates their eggs? Think about that. There's actually a law that eggs are usually in a refrigerator case at the supermarket, and directions always say keep refrigerated. The United States is the only country that does this. Every other country, all the eggs are out on room temperature. But one of the things that the United States does that is totally unnecessary is they wash their eggs, and there is normally a protective coating that is antimicrobial, and eggs are porous. Eggs are, if I had poison dripping all over my hand and I held this egg and I cradled it, the poison would seep through the shell and contaminate the egg. Eggs, you have to be very careful about. But because sometimes, depending on the practices of where you buy your eggs, if say a bird poops and gets on the egg, and the bird poop has been on there for a while, they're saying obviously nobody wants any fecal contamination of any manure of any kind. So to prevent us from consuming, say I cracked an egg say I was a giant bird, okay, and I'm laying my egg, but I'm thinking, oh, I got a case of the, and I got on the egg. And say you're the farmer and you got this egg and this egg's got some poopy on it. I said, oh my goodness. Well, if you're not going to want to break this egg, and sometimes pieces of eggshell get in your egg, if it had fecal contamination, would you want that in your egg? Even though you're probably going to be cooking it. Some germs you can destroy through cooking. Others, like especially poisons and things like that, you can't. And I heard that there's even some things that even heat won't get rid of, things like salmonella and stuff like that, and people can and get very sick. So anyway, the point of this is because of the risk of, I think, the fecal contamination because of our farming practices, their law is that you have to refrigerate your eggs. But it doesn't, no law says that in your own home you can have to refrigerate them. A lot of times I will set them out, but one thing I won't do anymore, for a while there I was setting things on the stair landing because that's another place that I try to hide things from mice. Anyway, one time I had eggs too long, and some of them had actually gone bad, but that is usually just a rarity. Anyway, I'm going to do something right now just to be on the safe side. I am going to wash this egg, and you know what? Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to touch a little bit of this antibacterial stuff, but that's only because, you know, every place, every surface is not always clean, even in the fridge. Now, there's another reason why I wash this, even though I just talked to you about why America has some backwards things compared to other countries, especially with respect to our food supply and all the additives and things and the different dye colors and stuff that we sell here in America, processed food that is not sold or even allowed in most other countries. Which, you know, so much for us being the most civilized, most fancy, wonderful place in the world. I mean, I still believe in American exceptionalism, don't get me wrong, but I'm so glad we have RFK and he's working to clean up our food supply. Now, reason why I clean this so thoroughly is because I'm going to show you what I do that most chefs don't do on the web. They do this thing where they like to do everything with one hand. We break the egg. First of all, I want to make sure that this thing isn't rotten. Okay, so I'm going to smell it first. No, it's not rotten, thank goodness. Okay, and you can see it's kosher. There's no blood spots. Now, one thing that I never see web chefs do, they always, any chef on TV, they leave half the egg in the shell. It drives me batty. Dude, why are you wasting so much of this? So this is what I do. I'm going to try to find a way to show this without the spilling. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Okay, now, one of the things I always do, I stick my finger in and I make sure I get all that egg that was stuck on the shell. And I scrape the membrane. You see a little tiny piece of shell did come off. So if I had to worry about E. coli, you see, there is definite concern there. But all this egg that's clinging to this, I scrape it into the bowl. Okay. Then I go straight to the sink and I capture water in this. And I put the equivalent of what fits in the eggshell in the egg. I always do this. If you didn't, and while I'm doing this, I'm using my fingernail and I'm scraping around. I'm making sure I'm getting every bit of that egg stuff. Now, with this eggshell here, it's going to be much harder because you could see it's kind of what it is. I'm going to still try. I'm going to get water in this. I'm going to fill it up. Oh boy. And I'm going to do that and get all the egg stuff there and try not to break shell pieces. Okay. Alright. You know why I did what I just did? When you do that, you effectively almost double the volume of your egg. This is just one egg, okay? Now, they don't show you this on TV because this just takes extra time. And you know, they edit so many things out. But the thing is, when they edit so many things out, people miss steps. They don't think that there are techniques they do to save time, such as they always have something prepared so that they can take something out, and by the magic of TV, wow, all of a sudden, you know, you put something in the oven and all of a sudden, right away, you take out the finished product. You know, you make 2 batches and you cook the first batch, and I've used that technique myself where I make something and then I show it to people while you get to see then the process. Okay, now I'm going to take this egg and this, instead of a whisk, first I make sure that the yolk is loose on here. And again, sniff to make sure that absolutely sure that it's not funny. And very carefully, because I don't want to get an egg bath on me. And I like a really well scrambled egg. I don't like pieces of yolk floating around. Sometimes another thing that pet peeve I have when I see them scrambling eggs on TV, like the PBS chefs, any chef, I watch a lot of cooking videos. A lot of times they don't scramble the eggs enough. And when they measure ingredients out ahead of time and they put each thing in a different little cup or something and they dump things in as they need them. Now with the powder things, generally you get everything out of there. But with the creams and the liquids, invariably they leave stuff in the pan. And I'm thinking, you use a spatula and scoop that all out. When they don't do that, oh man, it drives me nuts. Okay. Now, I'm very limited in my salt source. And I did get a few spice mixes that have salt in them. But the problem with that is then you are limited to, as you adjust for salt and everything, you don't want to cloud your dish with a whole bunch of other flavors when maybe you want to keep it. You want to be more in control of the spices instead of using spice mixes just because you want a way to add salt. Okay, see, I'm getting it kind of frothy. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric. Turmeric, it adds a bit of bitterness, but it's really good for you. And before I mix it up, I'm going to find some black pepper. Black pepper and turmeric actually are synergistic with each other, and they have health benefits. Black pepper has a substance called piperine. Turmeric has a substance called curcumin. And when you eat them together, they increase the bioavailability in your body. Turmeric is good for your lungs. It's good for your blood pressure. It's good for your blood. It's good for your heart. It's good for some people believe it may help prevent cancer. When my father got diagnosed with lung cancer, I started making a whole lot of Indian food. And of course they say that, and a great reason why I love the already ground spices, first of all, if you use them a lot and you keep them airtight as much as possible, if you use them, I really recommend them, because if you want an herb that's really ground, really, really, really fine, to increase the chance of all the good things in this herb getting to your body. If I was starting from the actual tuber, the roots, that is what turmeric grows on, then you would have to be grating it and chopping it and trying to pulverize it. And, I think it's really harder, it's so much harder unless you actually can dry it and then grind it, and I'm not sure what the process would be for that. But you're going through a whole lot to prepare it, and because you can't get as fine a grind, you're not going to be able to get, it's one thing putting things in your body, but your body needs to be able to use it. It's like, say you're using, I'll give you a little bit more advice. People like to sometimes use fat-free salad dressings in their salads, but you really need fat to have carrier for all those vitamins and minerals. You're eating all these greens and you're putting whatever it is you put in a salad, right? But you want to actually have some fat also, because you want to be able to get all those vitamins. You're eating the rainbow, you're getting all these wonderful things that is put out here on the earth for you to enjoy. But if you don't get the bioavailability of your vitamins and minerals, especially trace minerals that are so important for things, but an oil will carry them to your body so that they go where they're needed. Okay, I'm going to use some real salt, because salt is really good in egg. There. And I'm going to scramble this in. I love how that just brings out the yellow color the eggs should have. Turmeric. I've also used things like curry powder. Okay, now, all right, so first thing I'm going to do is find a place to safely put this. Oh, I got this when I went to the dollar store to get some things for my friend in Washington, D.C. I got some seasoned salt too, so that I could use that because I just hate, I've been using salt packets, and well, I don't want to use too much salt anyway, especially for people who have problems with blood pressure and stuff, but you need flavor, and I'm sorry, you need salt for something. Okay. I suppose I could put these in the fridge now. Now I have something that I can add to that. I pre-fried some onions. I'll just throw them in toward the end because they're already caramelized. I certainly don't want to burn them. You know how easy it is to burn onion. And you know what? Let me get my sharp knife out. Okay. Now, I'm just going to take this steak with my hands. It's fairly close to room temperature, and it's, you see, it has some onions on it. I'm going to just chop this up in a fine chop. And you know what? I think I'm just going to use this bowl. I'm going to cut this up so I can throw this in. You know what? Let me turn this around. I guess I'm going to have to use this thing. And if you fly, go and touch that stuff over there, I kill you. I give you a headache. You fly. You heard the phrase, no brains, no headache? Okay, now. Oh. I'm going to do this kind of a fairly fine chop. I'm going to start with something like this, and I'm going to start cutting it this way. I'm bracing it with the left arm so that I don't let this go flying, and I will gnash my teeth and I will cry a veil of tears, and we don't want that. If it's starting to get too fat, feel free to cut it in another thin strip, and then just, or you can tear it with your finger too, I won't tell. You know. Just because you have veins of fat running through, sometimes it really is easier just to cut it. This meat will just need to be heated through. So this will be like one of the last things you put as you assemble this, because the rice will need to be moistened by the fat. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to tear this. I think that would actually be easier. See, I'm getting pieces like this size. I'm ashamed to say that my fingernails have grown in a little bit since I have been playing guitar. And I usually cut them back, you know. But sometimes I'm glad I have them. They're easy to grasp things you drop, you know. See, I'm not in any pressure to hurry up and get something from my mom because she's busy FaceTiming with her friend. And she's giggling and laughing and she's having such a good time. You know. And I love to see my mom like that. You know. I mean, it's nice watching TV and stuff. But it's also nice to talk with a good friend and share memories and things. You know, this was a friend that was hanging out with my mom when I was in California. Even though when I came home for Christmas, I would do different things to help out Mom when she with her scouting stuff. You know, whenever they would have things in the malls where the different scouts would get together and show off what the troops were doing and stuff. You know, Charlie Kirk was a Eagle Scout. I just found that out about him when I watched the funeral, the public funeral service. That was a real tearjerker. I watched the whole thing. That's another part of the reason why all I did yesterday was live stream, because I just so many things that I normally would be talking about, aside from my caregiver role and stuff. It just so many things just don't seem very important right now, you know. And sometimes I feel guilty if it seems like I'm having too much fun. Even though, what am I supposed to do? Just do nothing but housework all the time, you know? But and if I actually spend money on things that I feel are really investments in my channel, like I have to back my things up. So if I can get the 4 terabyte drives and stuff, and as far as getting another cell phone that see, I don't know how. I'm not using the new one for this because this is a live stream. I can use. It doesn't matter what I'm using for that. But the one that I got recently, the one that holds 512 gigabytes, I don't know how much filming and video I can use before it tells me it's full. I'm thinking if a 256 gigabyte phone tells me that I'm full for pictures and video at 35 gigabytes, then maybe a 512 gigabyte phone will tell me I'm full at 70. Either way, it's double the capacity of what I had before. And for less than $10 more, okay? So, and I need to be able to keep my channel going no matter what. And that way, if one piece of equipment's going on a fritz, giving me problems, I have something else. I need to keep this channel going. And I was told in 3 days my computer will be replaced. So I can go back to doing the live streams in the landscape format that I really prefer. Well, tell me I'm not getting my elbow in the egg. I hope not. Yeah. All right. This will be beef and chicken in this fry. Oh, yes. And here's some nice big pieces of fat, which I'll tear up extra small. And matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Here, look at this stuff here. I'm going to stick this beef fat. I'm going to tear it up into tiny, tiny, tiny little pieces. And I'm going to put this in here. Oh, yeah. Even though this kind of fat tastes so good when your steak is really, really done right, you can just bite into it and oh, it's so juicy and flavorful and stuff. But I will let this add to the flavor of what I'm about to make. So you just tear it up real little pieces, little teeny tiny pieces, and when I end up putting the fire under this finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften up the peppers first, and then when they're softened up, then I'm going to put the scrambled egg in. And I think I'm going to do with the peppers what I did with the chicken. Well, I can either keep that aside, or I could just shove it to the edge. But the thing is, I don't want the peppers to burn. Okay. Ooh. Okay, now I'm going to take this, tear up the rest of this. Okay, Now I have to be careful not to overcook that already done beef, because then it'll get tough and we don't want that. Let me see. Oh, I should use some of this too. Oh. Oh, this is so tough. You know what I'm going to do? This is so tough. I'm going to set this aside for the street cats. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this, I'm going to set this here for the time being. I'm going to wash my hands now because they're all greased up. Let me see if I can tear some of this off. See, all I have to do is use my fingernail and just tear tiny little pieces off, and I'll put this with the other beef. Okay, this is getting kind of tough, so I'm going to save this for the cats. So look, some kitties are going to be very lucky around here. And see the cup that I'm going to save? Kitty food. Okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge so that nothing happens to it. Oh, I'm going to put this back in the fridge also. And a way to keep the door from getting contaminated by my greasy hands is I just open it this way so I don't transfer my grease. I'll wash my hand. Whoops. Okay, now I found something else I could throw in. Teensy tiny little tomato. I'm soap and water washing it just in case. Okay, I'm going to set this down for a second. Now I want to dry my hand off with something good. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that my hands don't need to be totally sterilized. So when I get this dry enough, I'm going to bring something that I've been talking about for a couple hours now. I'm gonna go and get. Hold on a second. Okay, remember this stuff I've been talking about? I need to do this for a while, and I keep on doing all these other things. Okay. I'm over 21. That's my disclaimer. I'm very much over 21. Or no, I'm 22. Okay, but I live in a state where it's okay. It's legal to inhale if you're at least 21. Don't need a medical card. The only thing is, if you're in Atlantic City, New Jersey, it's illegal to smoke in public. What tomfoolery is this? Smoke them if you got them. Okay. Okay, now, I know I added some fat to this, but probably not enough to fry. But you know what, just for the hell of it, I'm gonna set the fire on, not too high. Oh, by the way, this what I'm using, I'm not opening this up, but this is a green and black olive tapenade. I haven't used it. One of these days I'll try it out. I think you need fancy crackers for something like that. And, okay, stay there. Please don't spill whatever you do. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Oh, these are good to save to put in your houseplants, by the way, because this is a natural form of calcium. Also, birds like it. They will peck at this, and they will eat this, and it'll get calcium in their bodies. And then when they go to lay eggs, the calcium becomes a part of their eggs. That is true. I want to show you guys my favorite current knife is this. This is what I use to deveinate shrimp with. Okay. And you notice I haven't put any fat in yet. Let's see if this beef fat that I tore off renders. If you really want to do that, it'll add such a flavor to this. I wish you could smell this. You know, one fun thing about being a pothead is I think you appreciate the process of cooking even more. And the thing is, I really do love to cook. Never for the life of me thought that I would be doing this online. I mean, half the time when I do cooking live streams, it's because I want a way to create content. I love live streaming, and you gotta cook anyway because everybody's gotta eat, right? So it just makes sense to me that I can maximize my time if what I have to do anyway can be entertaining in some way, be educational, give a person ideas for what to make with, say they only have a few ingredients and I just happen to be messing around in the kitchen with those ingredients. What's real big these days is 4 ingredient meals if you can throw things together easily. But what I do, I like to work with a lot of leftovers, so my food tends to get a lot more elaborate than that. Because I'll be looking in the refrigerator and I'm thinking, oh man, this has been here over a week. Don't waste that. And obviously you want to make sure that it's good enough to eat. But can you see, I don't know if I can, see, my fingers are still a little bit wet right now. Let me see if I can give you a close up at all. Okay, oh I can, okay. You see it all, that I'm rendering the fat at all. Wow, I can do this. Oh, you know what I can't wait to try out in the new phone? I downloaded like 4 different AIs. I want to try some of the productivity tools associated with that. One thing I notice though, I get a little creeped out sometimes when it picks out little short snippets of even my shorts. And some of the things it chooses to focus on are not what I would have picked. I have used it to help select a picture from a still from a video if I didn't think to shoot a thumbnail, or I didn't have the patience to look through a video and select a still. Okay, you see how it's rendering the fat? Oh, see? I want to make sure, and now I want to start softening this up. I want to get these peppers translucent before I even think of adding eggs or rice to it. And I make sure the eggs are set before I add rice to it. And I'm sure I'm going to have to add more fat in order to cook the eggs, because I don't want them sticking. And the eggs need to be thoroughly done before I assemble things. That's really important. I hate runny eggs. I hate semi-cooked eggs. That is something that it's not just because of salmonella. I don't like to, belly burn. Put this back down to normal. Hoping this is back to normal. Okay. But I want you to see here. Alright. No. Okay. Whoops. I would like to share the frame with my cooking. Right? The only thing about this thing is that it almost gives the illusion that my stomach's sticking out, and I assure you it's not. But it's just this hemline is fucking weird. But I was looking for an excuse to wear this skirt, and I didn't want a bright color because I didn't want it to clash with this gray leopard. Okay, I want to make sure that this fat doesn't burn. So before it gets to the burn stage, I'm going to take it out, okay? And I'm going to put it in with the chicken. So, because I'm not going to do the chicken too much because I don't want it to get brick hard and real tough. It was fried once, and then I used the skillet to heat it up to make sure that I didn't end up with food poisoning. Because luckily the person who left it, if food is even half a day old, he trips out. And he won't keep leftovers in the fridge even a day. And he's given away so much food that it was perfectly good just because it wasn't good enough for his little standards. And my mom and I have eaten things, like he forgot about ice cream and it was in the freezer for a month. and Mom would decide that she craved it, especially since he doesn't usually eat the flavors I want anyway. He likes vanilla, and I prefer chocolate or pistachio. That's my current favorite because I like really good ice creams that have texture to them, you know. And I love butter pecan, but I need honey for that. I think it needs honey poured on it. You know, I think I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay. But I really want to let this come down here. And I've got a lot of rice to add to it. You can see this is a real, and this is a small Aroma brand rice cooker that comes with a vent hole, which is very necessary. Otherwise, when it's boiling over, if it boils over, you could have the lid come off. And never put your finger in front of there; you will get burned on steam. Oh, what the fuck? Hold on. For me, coming. Yes.
I did 2.5 hours on it. We were trying to.
2.5 hours on your iPad? What happened? Did the power go off?
No. I think we gave on because the cats in the butt was getting numb.
Oh.
And my hands couldn't.
I really think that's a good idea going in a well-lit room. But now, how are you going to be comfortable seating? Because you seem so comfortable here. What are we going to? How will we replicate it?
Chair in there.
And an extra pillow or something?
There's the plug in the wall.
Oh, okay.
This can
go in your charge.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just,
all right.
Is it dinner time yet?
I'm still cooking. Oh crap. Mom, can you put that on mute, please, right now? I don't want to get in trouble. Sometimes I got a copyright thing for a live stream I was doing. Yeah. This is my mom's new iPad, and I've got to plug it in.
The plug's right there.
And the plug's right here. And you know what? Okay, but I gotta set this someplace. Stay there. Okay. Stay there. Okay, I'm going to.
Everything came apart. The charger came off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me get more in the light. Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I couldn't see.
Yeah, if you want to see, you gotta go. But this, tomorrow when she does her FaceTime with her friend, we're gonna go in here, and because it has a real light, and I guess we're going to make her chair more comfortable. First of all, I'm gonna put the plastic bag over that so that's covered. But this is going to be where she's going to do the thing. I did one video in this a couple days ago. And one thing, you got to be real careful. You hang out, it's be very easy to fall out. And I don't love heights, honestly. But this is where my mom does her physical therapy. And this is where I have some of my wardrobe. My fancy wardrobe. My red pantsuit that I think I showed you the other day that I can't wait for the season to wear it. It's a medium instead of a small, so it's a little big on me. But I just love it so much. And for a formal that's black, I'm thinking I could pair this with an ankle-length black skirt, for things going on at the Kennedy Center. Okay, I'm getting a 16% remaining battery low warning. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to set this down. And then I'm going to charge this. You know what? I'm smelling that. I don't want that stuff burning.
You don't want to plug it in down.
No, I said, I'm plugging in now. I'm saying I don't want that food. Excuse me, what I'm trying to say is I don't want that stuff burning. it on the stove right now. I gotta go. Okay, I'll talk to you. Alright. I don't remember whether I turned. I don't know what the heck happened, but anyway, I had to plug in my mom's iPad, and I thought I turned this off when I went to do that, but I hadn't. But anyway, it's okay, because I like onions to have a little bit of char on them. But now, I am going to take these, and I'm going to put these, no, I'm not going to put it in with that. I'm going to put it in its own little thing. Oh, come on, you so-and-so. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw some in this, okay? Oh, here, let me put this back. Yeah, my mom was actually telling me that she was getting hungry, so. Okay, whoops. I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to hope that these are cooked enough. They're soft enough. But no, some people like my mom, they really like the texture of vegetables. It's like with Chinese food, a lot of times the vegetables are never cooked enough, especially broccoli. And I don't dislike broccoli at all. Broccoli is good for us, and I love broccoli, but I like it cooked soft. I don't like it still crunchy for the most part. Because you're chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing. It's like I'm going to die of boredom before I fucking finish chewing this. But if it's soft, then that's wonderful. Okay, now we put in the eggs. I already added salt. I already added turmeric. I already added a little bit of black pepper. Just whip it really good. You want to make sure you could really see this. And the skillet's already hot, so it'll have a real nice sizzle. Listen to that sizzle. Oh yeah. Here, I should have done it. See? There. Now I'm going to show you something else I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. By a little bit, I mean just 2 tablespoons. Look at this. I'm going to look at this. Because I don't want to waste any egg. It is kind of thick, which tells me maybe it was an older egg, but it smelled totally fine. Anyway, I'm going to take this. This way I don't miss anything. Okay? Now I'm going to hit this in the sink. Okay, now. First thing I'm going to do is scrape things on the edge so it doesn't get rubbery and yucky. But take this and cook this. Now I have a feeling I'm going to have to add some more oil after this is cooked. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to set it aside because that rice, that's a lot of rice that I'm going to have to fry up. And I'm going to have to soften it up, and I'm going to have to imbue it with the flavors of the meats and stuff. You see how the slope of the floor and everything is tilting this way? And there's a block of wood propping up the stove like this high, and it's still tipped. It's funny, it seems to be cooking faster where there's less grease or something. Well, I thought it was the other way around, but I don't know. The eggs are easier to cook in a way than meat, where because of the slope, one side gets cooked faster than the other. And with certain things like raw chicken, for instance, you really don't want to mess up with that. And then when you're freeganing food that somebody set out and you don't know how long it was out and you're taking a chance, you want to make sure that you really cook it a long time to make sure that you kill any germs from, because you don't know how long it was sitting out. You know, people leave food out for people and they can have the best of intentions, but if you don't know when they set it out, and you don't know, and say you're getting food that was donated by Popeyes, and they let you have the food at the end of the night, you always want to recook that, because you don't know, again, and you don't know how clean a person's hands were, if they wore rubber gloves, how clean their bag was. Say they thought the bag that they put in was clean, but it actually had groceries in it, including the bottoms of cans and bottles. And nothing is filthier than the bottom of a can. It could have mouse turds in it, it can have all kinds of dirt that gets on the shelves, you know, plus touching a whole bunch of other people handling it and stuff. I like to wash my can lids really well before opening them. Okay, now is when it's a good time to break them up. Let the egg get nice and well cooked. And you want to scrape so that you don't have any pieces of egg that end up getting burned on the pan. Because that is very easy to happen when you're frying rice, because the starch gets on the pan, you know. You know, I'm thinking, because of that very reason, I should probably warm up some of the meat so that some of the meat's in it when I add the rice. Because I'm afraid once the rice cooks, the starch gets on the edge of the pan, then everything's going to stick. And as far as quote-unquote stir-frying things, you know, so... But I want this really well done, really nice and finely chopped so it incorporates in. You know, you don't want to take a mouthful of something, whether it's by fork or spoon or chopsticks, and have half of it be just a big giant piece of egg. And it's scrambled really well so you don't end up with obvious yolk. You know, obvious white's not bad, but you just mix them real good. You know, but definitely water's better than milk. Some people add milk, which may have a little bit of nutritional content in there, but for really fluffy eggs, water is better for some reason. I don't know. Usually you would think of more nutritious choice, but with the milk, you have to worry about how fresh it is. You gotta smell it first. If it's least bit sour, the only thing that sour milk's good for is if you're making buttermilk pancakes or buttermilk. You can make chocolate cupcakes and chocolate cake, and you could substitute buttermilk, and you could actually, it adds a certain dimension to what you're baking. But as a rule, I'm kind of careful about things that I think are going bad, you know. See, make sure it's nice and well done. Okay, just not burnt. Okay. Alright. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this with this peppers. Stick this here safely. I'm going to have to scrape this as clean as possible before I put the oil in, because I don't want things burning on the edge, you know. Is this in the... And you notice I'm using a hard rubber plastic. One thing I hate is when chefs use metal scraping against metal, and it's like nails in a chalkboard. It's like, oh, I hate when they do that, and I won't do that. This is also best to use when you're dealing with non-stick, but this is just wonderful cast iron we've had in our family. I don't know how long, since I was a baby, maybe? We've had this a lot longer than the smaller one. Okay, now it's time for more oil. I really want to be quick with this. Okay. I'm going to start off with less before I do more, even though I'm sure I'm going to need more. Okay. Okay. You know what? Here, let's heat this. This is the cut up steak. And I guess some of the, I'll live dangerously. I'll throw in those caramelized onions because there's just a small amount. Because I made a bunch that I used for a sandwich or something I made for Mom. And there's a little bit left, and I decided to, instead of finding a little container to put it in, I just used this, which took up a lot more space. And so now by using this, now I can actually wash this. And because that takes up so much room in a refrigerator, and I'm thinking I'm always stressing about where to put something, and I usually put a whole skillet full of stuff. It's lazy, but if I'm going to reheat it in the same container anyway, why do I want to transfer it to something else? Wasting all the oil and all the flavored stuff, So the last thing that this originally had the chicken. And because after heating it, I wanted to put it in the fridge in the same way so that I could heat it again. And now I don't think I have to worry about killing germs with this because I just made this. You saw the video where I cooked the steaks. Okay, now I'm going to take the chicken. Now the thing with this chicken though is I have to be really careful because it still has bones. Now you know what? I'm going to start frying this rice. Alright. But you know what? I'm going to smoke it on the bowl. Because this is what's in here. I'm not adding to it. And I'm thinking, why not, right? Anybody else like to cook when you're smoking? I'm so happy that my friend showed up and got me some sugar so I could actually, excuse me. No. I totally would give up coffee if I had no way to sweeten it. But the thing is, my mom likes coffee and only drinks it that way. Okay, now, I'm going to start putting some of this rice. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to use my damn hands. I'll tell you why. This is, got to break it up. You got to go like this. And I think I'm going to have to add some more oil. No two ways about it. Okay. Because I've got so much stuff to throw together for this. Alright. Just go ahead. It's starting to spit on me, kind of. I'm just going to go ahead and put this in. Because you know, one great thing about this, when you finally make it, put it all together, you can always reheat it in the rice steamer. You know. Because you can't be, I mean, yes, you can use this as a storage thing too, actually. But no, it's better to eat as much as you can with this. And usually if you have more than one person, you know. Okay, put this in the sink. Now I'm going to wash my hands quickly. Okay, now this is where it's really important to stir. Try not to let this stuff stick, and that's a real challenge because here more of the oil is concentrated because that's just the way it is. So I want to try to get that oil to coat all over this rice. And you see, that's why I like to crush it with my hands because it gets the clumps out. Because otherwise, if you try to get the clumps out when you're on the thing, you can end up actually getting rice to shoot out all over the place. So it hits your stomach, and if it's hot and you have any skin exposure, you'll burn yourself. Otherwise, it'll fall on the ground. It'll end up being mouse food. So, stirring, stirring. It's very important. Oh, and also getting this thing to protect my hands. I can grab it. So, because matter of fact, I'm going to start using it now, even though I don't want to get anything on the. But I've got to heat this enough, and that's going to be a real challenge. And I want to not incorporate the meat yet. I want to get that fat that I put in the skillet. I want all the rice coated. That's what's going to cause the rice to get that nice golden color that we're hoping for it to get. And you have to be patient with this too, because you don't want to say, oh, I'm in a hurry, I turn it on too high, and next thing you know it burns. And it always gets this coating of starch, which I find so damn annoying. And it kind of burns on, and the thing is, you want to have a glide. You want to be able to. This is why a lot of times people, when you're stir frying rice, they get the rice and they get that cooked first. And then when that is done, then they put a well in the middle, and then they throw the raw egg in and they cook the egg. But the problem with that is the egg is invariably going to touch some of the rice, and you're trying to cook the egg to make it get all solidified, and it gets hard to get all of it cooked because some of it still stays wet that's touching the rice. And it's easier to do everything separately, and if you can, and assemble them. And you definitely want to cook your egg, even if you're a person like me who loves sushi. You want to make sure that eggs are cooked well, and especially if you had them in your fridge for a while and you're thinking they're getting old. It's like that seems